Hi everybody. I thought I would talk to you today about how I got into this kind of thinking about life, which I'm sharing with you on this little video stream called Ageless Yoga. That's a funny name to call it, but it's a password that I gave to my mother when I gifted her a computer, and she was 80 at the time. And I thought, wow, that's a cool password for somebody to remember when they're 80 and they're trying to learn something new about computers. So I thought, okay, ageless. And she used that password up until she left the planet at the age of 97 and a half. So for me, I wanted to just tell you that I am not like the way I am now when I was younger. I had scoliosis really badly when I was a kid, and I learned to do yoga from a book. And the physical yoga is the first that I learned about yoga, but the physical part of yoga is the tip of the iceberg, the very tip. And underneath are all the other things that happen when you start doing the poses and you start moving the spine and you start believing in the miracle that is happening with your body, because it really does change the body. And just for you to know, I am making some little videos of showing the type of yoga that I do. Not that I'm a, spectacular yoga person physically, but I just thought it would be part of our sharing, because physical and mental and spiritual is the way that yoga is done. It's all connected, all the different aspects of ourselves. And yeah, we could sit around and tell jokes and do funny stories and make each other laugh, but that's not what this is about, because there's plenty of time for joking around. My wanting to communicate with you is based upon trying to give some comfort during a time when everybody is feeling very antsy and shaky and weird and confused, and some people are threatened, and other people are waiting for a big shift to happen, and other people have no money, and other people don't know if they're going to survive. And it's a time of great challenge spiritually and socially. And so I thought I would just start by telling you a little bit about who I am and how I got into this life. So when I was young, I came from a pretty dysfunctional home. Hello, everybody seems to come from some kind of a dysfunctional home. Big deal. But I just wanted to check out. I didn't like where I was coming from. I didn't like what was happening. So I started running away when I was a really young kid. And somehow I got scoliosis. I don't know if it was just a natural turn of events or if I fell from a tree, because I'm a tomboy and I was always doing very physical things. But I had, by the time I was a young teenager, a very curved spine, and I was in a lot of pain and just could never find any relief from any doctor that my parents sent me to, until I was in college. I was 18 at the time, and somebody suggested yoga. And at that time, in 1965, that's how old I am. You would do the math. 65 is when I was 18 years old, and I learned yoga from a book. And I started doing basic sun salutes, and I learned how to do a headstand, and instantly my life changed. The pain stopped. I had been beleaguered by such sharp, one coursing up and down my spine pain, and nothing relieved it. But as soon as I had discovered yoga and stretched my spine and strengthened my spine, my scoliosis at least was strengthened so that it wasn't moving around and crunching nerves. To this day, I have to do physical yoga at least once every 2 weeks. If I'm on the road or something, I have to. Otherwise, I get paralyzing nerve pain. So I have just incorporated yoga into part of my life, like brushing my teeth and going to the bathroom and having, a meal every now and then. But it's saved me from a life of torment. So I started with the physical, and anybody who knows, when they start just wanting to have a stronger body or wear some cool yoga does. They just get into the classes. Something happens if you just keep doing yoga, and things change. Your body changes, and also your thoughts change, and other things start to happen. And the magic begins with moving the spine, and it can be explained if anybody wants to understand about the chakras, which are these different energy centers that get activated by moving the spine. But that's not what we're talking about right now. We're not talking about the chakras. That we can do that some other day. I'm talking about my journey. So, and why I want to share it with you. It's not just about me. I want you to know who I am, so that you will trust me more, and that together we will end this time today by having a little peaceful meditation, a little time to send out love and healing to the world together, because that's really what I do a lot. And I want to show how I do it and share with you how I do it. It's a way of comforting my own uneasiness by giving to others and by giving to the world. So by 18, I had learned I could have some physical relief. By 20, I learned that I could have mental relief because I was initiated into meditation, and the circumstances were such that I was in a very bad state mentally. Even though I had been doing physical yoga, everything was coming to a head, and I was a very, very confused and angry and distraught and self-destructive young woman. And I had come to a very weird place, so that I had a physical manifestation of pain, which the doctors couldn't figure out what it was. So they had me scheduled for exploratory surgery. Those are the chimes, if you're wondering what the little noise is. I live in a beautiful place that I've created with lots of nice wind and birds. So the doctors had scheduled me for exploratory surgery. They didn't know what was wrong after taking all sorts of barium, this and that, and examinations. A friend of mine who had just recently been initiated into TM, which came to the States right around that time in the mid-60s, transcendental meditation, said, come with me and let's get you into meditation, because you should do whatever you can before you're going to let doctors open you up to see what is wrong with you, because the pain was coming from the center of my body. Just every day it traveled around. And so I said, sure, I would do anything rather than to be cut up. So we went to the TM center, and at the time I had no money. I basically just begged them to help me, and they were gracious, and they initiated me with no fee, God bless TM, and I was given help. And at the very first experience of connecting with this state of leaving the thought process and going into the non-thought process, which is what meditation is, I had an experience that was cosmic. It sounds corny, but it just completely was mind-blowing and light-filled, and I knew my life would never be the same again. And the pain left instantly. I went back to the doctors. This was in Cambridge, Massachusetts at the time. I was a student in Boston. And the doctors at that time were so intrigued. They said, we're just beginning to realize the relationship between our thoughts, which is the mental part of us, and the physical, that they were correlated. And so they were very interested and wanted to interview me, and they brought in so many other doctors and really wanted to know step by step what had happened. So after the meditation experience, I realized that there was another way of looking at life, and I dove into that world. And so that's the beginning of this story. If you want to know more about me, I have lots of beautiful books on Amazon. Just check out what I've got to offer if you want to know more. But we're just going to dive right in and do something together rather than hear more of my story. I want to hear more of your story. And I know that your story is the world story, and we are all connected, and we are all in a state of upheaval and wondering and unease right now. So let's try to connect on a heart level, and let's take a deep breath in and release it slowly through our nose. And when we breathe in, let your belly get loose. And as you breathe out, push your belly in, which engages the diaphragm and pushes the air out slowly through your nose. Breathe in. Breathe out. If you wish, you can close your eyes or not. Just listen to my voice or not. Be comfortable with your breath. That's the most important thing. Stay connected to your breath. Feel the sensation of being connected to your breath. Feel how everything alive is breathing, and we are all connected through our breath. Breath is consciousness. If we're not breathing, we're not alive. And if we're alive, we have consciousness, even if we're in a coma. So focus on your breath, breathing in and breathing out. Feel the stillness coming over you. How alive, how sweet it is to be alive. And now, take that sweetness of your aliveness and imagine it completely encircling the whole earth. This beautiful ball of blue out in space that we call home. Gaia, beautiful earth, our garden planet. Feel your healing love energy surround our earth. Send your love, your comfort, your beingness at peace, in balance to all creatures throughout the earth. Feel the energy coming to a place of balance and positive. Feel the negatives dissolve. Feel the fears of disease disappear. Feel the truth of love, which is consciousness, surround you, surround the earth. Feel it with each breath as you surround the earth with your love, with your strength, with your courage, with your energy. All creatures, human, non-human, animate, even inanimate objects, the rocks, the grains of sand, everything is permeated with the one thing we all have connected, which is the energy of love. Consciousness, our breath. Feel it and share it and know that this is truly what's happening. We are in a period of transition. People are opening to love. People are realizing that fear does not serve the betterment of our world. Divisiveness is gone. It's dissolved. Nobody has to be right. Nobody has to be in control. It's just what is. Life, the journey, shared, the joy, protection, truth. Feel it in your breath. Breathing regularly, evenly, comfortably. And so it is.